Hey folks, y'all all know about the algorithm, right? Yeah, so what I need you to do is like, share, and subscribe. I need you to help me with the algorithm. I need you to like, share, and subscribe, and please leave a comment because the more that you do to help me, the more visible this gets, and the more this information gets out to other people. Again, thank you, and let's start the show. You woke? Time to get up. So maybe you folks have been listening and you've heard about the whole story behind Ed Reed. Um, if you know what happened, he was going to become the head coach back in December of Bethune Cookman College. Unfortunately for Ed Reed, he made one fatal mistake. He was apparently talking to some friends while he was at the school working. And during that conversation, he started going off about the school condition. He said he was out there picking up trash, had the players out there picking up trash, cleaning up the ground, so on and so forth. Said that there was no field house for the kids to, or that they were taking their um, uniforms home and they had to wash them at home, all those things. So, in the process of that, he said something about administration wasn't taking care of the school, so on and so forth. And what that leads to is him being terminated, of course, by the administration, by the athletic department and the president of the school, who decided that he no longer needed to be there. Now they based it upon the fact that they said his language was one reason for that, and the other one was his open criticism, of course, of administration, which they didn't really say that out loud, but that's what they meant to say. Come to find out, Ed Reed hadn't even signed his contract yet. He'd been there 25 days, was inviting students to campus, and the school had a problem with that apparently. But they didn't have a problem until after that. After the parents saw the condition of the school, they started questioning everything about the school. Now, mind you, the administration said that a lot of the conditions that people were seeing were because of hurricanes that had hit, and that they haven't really had a chance to really clean up. Some of that cleanup should have happened by now, because it's been several months since the hurricane. The school should have been cleaning up, and parents had some concerns. Ed Reed brought up security issues. He said there's a lot of crackheads, quote unquote, walking through the campus on a daily basis. Don't know if that's true or not. I don't know that part. But he said, the administrative president says, I walk the campus and talk to the kids every day about all the issues. They tell me about the issues. He says, we're working on them. The president of the school also said that they need like $100 million to fix all the issues because there were questions about leaking roofs. Some kids took pictures. They said it's mold on the wall. He says it's only mildew. It's not mold. Either way, that's a problem. He said some of that comes from the hurricane damage. He said that the school quickly got students back on campus. They did evacuate early, but they brought the kids back, and they said there's a lot of things up there that need to be fixed at the school, and they were still working on those things. He also said in an interview on Roland Martin, because all this is information I'm getting from Roland Martin, he said that the school had need donations and that Ed Reed was interfering with those donations. He brought up Disney, said that they had a communication with Disney. My take on that is this, that what Ed Reed was saying was hurting whatever deal that the president was working out with Disney, because he was saying how, while Ed Reed was telling them how bad the campus was, Disney didn't know about all this stuff, but here they are finna donate money, and they're asking questions, because, hey, this is our money we're giving you. What are we getting? What are you going to do with this money, and how is this going? So then that those kind of things add to the fact that Ed Reed gets fired, right? So, how do we talk about this? First, let me start here. Ed Reed was right and wrong all at the same time. Okay, he was talking about the conditions at the school, a problem that's chronic for a lot of HBCUs. I ain't going to say every last one of them. But a lot of schools have the same problems. The president brought up one that was really important. He says he was receiving less than 1% of donations from the school, from alumni of the school. Yet the alumni are suing the university because the university has dropped the original alumni chapter, which I believe it was divided into separate chapters. Like they had several different alumni group chapters. They didn't just have one alumni group; they had several. Maybe one for each school at the school. Like maybe School of Fine Arts, School of Business, School of Law. They all had their own chapters. And they said they combined them together, put them together, and they said that's a better alumni chapter. But they're still being sued because I guess it's broken off communication with some of the alumni who want to know what's going on with their money because they're seeing things at the school that don't look right. Another thing that happened that's interfering with the school right now is the fact that the interim president is the acting president, not the actual president, while the former president, who was the president of the school, who helped save the accreditation because a few years ago Bethune Cookman was in danger of losing the accreditation and now has a 10-year accreditation, according to the current acting president, was let go. So that previous president that saved the accreditation of the school and got the school back on track was let go for some reason. Don't know what that is. I think there's some issues going on there. I know there's a lawsuit out. I know there's some complaints by parents, and there's maybe another lawsuit out there. But again, they are trying to handle all these separate issues that are going on at this university right now. And then you get, on top of that, you get Ed Reed saying what he said. Ed Reed's right. The conditions at the school are terrible. Basic cleanup. That's a question. If the kids are going around campus doing that, that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time because you got the kids at the school doing it when the school didn't do it. And it questions what's going on with the leadership of the school. So Ed Reed's right on that account. Now, where Ed Reed is wrong is he made this very public, and you hadn't signed a contract with the team or anything like that. You made very public your issues with the university. Now, thinking back on how Deion Sanders did, now he talked about the conditions at the school, but he did not criticize administration right off. There was some later criticization of administration, and he talked about how they sometimes bumped heads on things, especially money, because when Jacksonville was making money, the school wanted to take money from the football program and put it into the other athletic and other programs, and he was like, no, we need to strictly do that. So he talked about that, but he never really criticized the administration of the school. I bring this up because Bethune-Cookman is just the tip of the iceberg. There's other schools that have similar problems. Shannon Sharp said during one of his interviews that he went to Savannah State, so he also went to another black school. He says that there was issues at Savannah State. He said there's several HBCUs that have the same conditions that this school does. Yet, players do come and play for them. They do come to the school. Now, the SWAC and all these other conferences, I don't think Bethune-Cookman's in that, but they are an HBCU. They're always searching for excellence. They're trying to do better, become better, and be able to compete with other schools, so on and so forth. Now, one of those things is facilities, and apparently, according to Ed Reed, Bethune-Cookman doesn't have those facilities. They don't have them available. Like he said, players are taking their uniforms home and having to wash them at home. Apparently, there's no practice facility. There's probably a field where they go and they practice, but there's no practice facilities. So those are things that are a problem as far as football goes. If we're talking about football, the school in general, people say you can get a decent education. And to be honest with you, even though I went to a PWI, let me explain how I see this. I've heard and looked at statistics. Kids who go to PWIs don't do as well as kids who go to HBCUs, because of the support, the attention they get from their teachers, so on and so forth. Even in those conditions, you try to get the best education possible for a child, to get that best support. It's just the atmosphere, probably, at compared to a PWI. A black kid in the PWI is in the system where, yeah, he can get in among other black students and so forth and get a little atmosphere and feeling, but at the same time, the schools are geared toward, it's not really centered on your issues and your problems. It's centered and trying to deal with those to get you through the system. So you have to fight a little bit more in those schools and be more competitive with other kids from, of course, different places, white kids, other black kids, the few Mexican and other people and Asian students that are there. You have to compete in that arena in a different way because it's geared towards the normal American white supremacy system. Then you go to a HBCU, it's geared toward the black kids that are there. Of course, white kids can be just as successful there because of all the personal attention by the teachers that you can get. Most of the time, the classrooms are way smaller. So there's attention to detail, time for the teachers to deal more time with their students. There's more in depth with education. There's a lot of history that black people can learn at HBCUs that they don't get at PWI. The attention to African American studies is higher. The attention to a black culture is higher. And sometimes those are good atmospheres for the kids to be in. And I'm not trying to be like this, being racist about this, just being honest. It's a different atmosphere at HBCU. Just watch the marching band. It's a different atmosphere than at a PWI. Not saying that a black kid can't get a good education at a PWI. They can. It just seems that because of the psychological and social atmosphere of HBCUs, those kids are more successful in the long run. And I'm not one to talk about segregation or anything like that. So Bethune-Cookman, on that note, still does a good job, despite all the other issues that the school has. The schools just had a protest from the students the other day complaining about the conditions at the school. And those same kids want Ed Reed back there. They saw something in Ed Reed that they liked, and they wish he was there. And I assume that Ed Reed is a nice guy that really wants to take care of the kids. Again, this is about business, and Ed Reed broke the golden rule on that side of things. And that's why he's out. And I hate that. He says that the administration is not telling the truth, and they're not giving the total story. And I can believe that. I can trust that there's some of the stuff that the administration is saying that is absolutely not true at all. I believe that there are some things that are going on here that we don't know about. I'm outside the loop, He talks to Deion Sanders, and he's talking to the administration. Those are the people, I didn't go to school. The only thing I can do is give you my opinion on what I see. And like I said, he may be right about the conditions. Because Jacksonville State, Deion talked about the conditions there and how he improved that. In fact, he talked about not only that condition, but the conditions of going to other stadiums and other schools and the problems they had. I can just imagine. Now, I'm going to tell you from my college experience as a former football player. I went to a PWI, like I said, I went to the University of Alabama, Birmingham. And people hate when you say University of Alabama at Birmingham, okay? Let me say it the right way. Or UAB. Our football team was fairly new at the school. School didn't have a football program at all. Most of the schools in Alabama had 100-year-old football programs. Our football program, 100 to 150, or 100 to 50 year to 100-year-old programs they had. Our school had a program that probably had started in 1988, and I'm telling you my age. I got there in '92. So, it had a fairly new program, and it just became sanctioned in 1991 as a Division III school. So we had to do some of the things you're talking about, washing your own uniforms. The kids were taping themselves up to play in the game. They'd take their pads with them. We had to travel to the practice field in our own cars. It's not, before I left, they gave us a brand new locker room, and we had somebody that washed our clothes and fixed our helmets and all that stuff before I left. Now, before then, like I said, a lot of the stuff you were doing on your own when you first got there. Those are unusual conditions for PWIs. And I'm going to tell you what else happens. There's a lot more money in PWI. Let me give you a comparison. There's Miles College right across town. In UAB. UAB is a $4 billion institution. Miles College doesn't make anywhere near that. It's probably on the scale of $50 to $100 million every year, and it may be even operating in the red. I remember stories back when we were playing, and we played Miles College when I was in school. We don't now because we're on two totally different levels, where they didn't even have proper weight room for their players. Our coaches scrambled together to put a weight room together. Eventually, we were using the one at the facilities at the school because they had better facilities. And as time went on, those facilities have improved. What UAB is now is not what it was then. Now it's been more than 20 years, right? It's almost 30 years, in fact. the school has wonderful practice facilities, trainers, and all those things at UAB that none of these other schools have. The HBCUs a lot of times are still at the conditions that I was just talking about. Players having to wash their uniforms at home, not great practice facilities, barely has a locker room for the kids. They may even be sharing with other teams the locker rooms they're using. The practice field may have potholes and holes in it. That is a common theme. They may even be practicing on the same field that they're playing the game on every day because they don't have those same things we have. Yet, they try to put out a quality football product. Sometimes it fails and sometimes it succeeds. Look at Jacksonville State. Of course, they helped that Deion was there and he got those things in place. He got the better practice facilities. He got the stuff in place that kids wanted to come to Jacksonville State. You see other schools trying to improve, And it's hard for HBCUs. For one thing, like you said, it's the lack of donation and attention to HBCUs sometimes. But again, like I said, the one thing they do have is great bands. They have great bands. They have a great educational opportunity. Football is getting better. I mean, there's some programs that are awesome out there. Look at North Carolina A&T that they constantly beat Jacksonville State in the Camilla Bowl. Jacksonville State has come up since what Deion's done there. Hopefully they can maintain that and keep moving it forward in excellence. I see other schools possibly coming up. I'm sure conditions at Prairie View A&M and some of these other schools, Alabama State, A&M, they probably can talk about this better than I can because I didn't go to a HBCU. Again, I went to PWI. My basic understanding is this. The reason why Ed Reed was right, he was talking about excellence. Everybody has to strive for excellence no matter where they are. All the excuses are always, well, money. Well, cleaning up your campus, basic things, taking little bits of money. Reed said he took money out of his own pocket, which he's got. He's a former NFL player. He got the money. He got the dollar bills. Maybe some of these other folks at the school don't. But taking the money out of your own pocket to get things done. See, the problem with the mindset of people, and I'm going to say this is true, is this poverty mindset that everybody's against you. They're not giving you what you need to make it. So what's the point? Everybody has to seek excellence for themselves. If you don't like something, change it. Fix it. No matter what it takes. Sometimes you ain't got what it takes. Find the resources to do it. And these schools are trying, but it's hard when everybody's complaining and nobody's really looking to make changes. Right? Like you said, you got less than 1% of the alumni donating to the school. Maybe they have questions about where the money's going. That might be the problem. The other problem is they may not have the money. But what you can do is try to work this out. Well, we work with whatever dollars we got. We got to pool our money together and put it into this so we can fix things like the problems in the buildings, heating, air conditioning, whether it be mildew, damage to roofs, damage to rooms. All of that stuff needs to be cleaned up and fixed. Getting the trash off the campus, that really don't cost you much. Get some trash cans, get some gloves, get out there, pick it up, get some little pickup sticks. That kind of stuff doesn't take much. But you got to put the effort forward to fix the problem. If you're not willing to fix the problem, then what's the point of us talking about this? So in the end, like I said, Ed Reed was wrong and he was right. He's gone now because of the things that got out, the things that were said. And again, I said he was right because there are conditions at the school that are counterintuitive to the needs of the students there. Folks, I'm all out of time. Thank you for listening today. I'd love to hear your opinion. So please like, share, and follow. Make sure you also hit that notification button so the next time the show comes out, you will be able to get first tabs on that. And y'all have a wonderful day. You have been listening to Thought You're Woke, No Speed Limit Podcast.